Ryan Kelly is just a man. Ryan Kelly, when he talks, you listen. So here's Ryan Kelly talking, and he tells us what he thinks about this upcoming year and the arc of development for this roster. Ryan Kelly, interesting guy.
I try to forget most of the 2022 season. I think like a lot of people, but a lot of takeaways I think from the 22-23 season was I talked about this extent was the coaching staff that he brought in. I think was incredible as far as like truly empowering players, believing in them to go out there and play well. I think that understanding that there's a standard to hold, making it fun, and also encouraging guys to be themselves. I think it was a huge thing. I think you saw kind of revitalization from almost every player on the team, and I think that the steps we took in 2023, the baby steps we took then, and even some of the big jumps we had, I think we just continue to keep doing that this offseason, and now we've got a full year together. I think it's been really encouraging.
Yeah, thinking back off that, like, how much do you think just having the experience together, especially with Bernard stepping up last year a lot, will help, I guess, build everyone into this season?
Yeah, it's huge for no line. I mean, we just had a little dinner together with some of the guys, the 2018, 19, 20 O-line, we all played, the five of us played a lot of games together. I think that the more you can have that, year after year, all the snaps we played together, the time we spent in and around the facility, I think is huge for us. And obviously having Tony back for a second year, understanding where he's at, and looking at all we did in 2023, the mishaps we had, the great we did, encouraging us to keep going, to do better. I think is big for us, and just making the baby steps right now to make that happen this year.
You've been around long enough to know like it's kind of rare to see the whole five come back on any team, particularly here. That hasn't happened a lot. Just how unique is that, I guess, and just from your own experience?
Yeah, we looked at our room yesterday, and it was like, we really haven't had anybody. We got a couple guys back that, we released early in the season or late in the season, and not to, bring any big free agent names in. I think this goes to show the trust that the organization has in us. Tony going to bat for us as a room. He's done an extensive job of building that room so that every person in there contributes everything that they need to contribute and maximizes their talent the time they have here. So I think that he understands the tightness of that room and not adding somebody else that might jeopardize that. So I think it's huge, and obviously it strives for us to keep getting better, and we obviously have a lot of competition in that room too. So even all five of us, it pushes everybody in the room to be better.
Ryan, over the last 4 years, what have you come to appreciate about DeForest Buckner's work ethic?
Yeah, I mean, he's always got the first parking spot out there because he gets here like 5:30, 6 in the morning every single day, and I think the big thing about him is he's just a great pro. I mean, I think that a lot of us early on in our careers come into the NFL, and you hear that term, be a professional, be a pro, and he's the epitome of one, right? He's one of the first people here, great teammate, always learning, always teaching young guys in that room how to be better, and I think you always see it, him working his craft, and obviously probably not talked about the most is his durability. I mean, he plays through a lot of injuries, spends a lot of time in that training room to get back on Sundays. I think that's a huge contributing factor to why you saw what happened yesterday.
What's the excitement level of just seeing Anthony walk in the building healthy, and obviously the expectations with him and the potential?
Yeah, it's great. He was having a great year, and I think he was on a path to really learning and to playing really well in this league. I think having an early setback like that, I think early in your career can somewhat be helpful. And it's kind of frowned upon to talk about that, but I think you learn in those moments and in those first years, if you have like a substantial injury, how to push through it. How to advert the adversity you're going to face in that time, whether it's mental, physical. I think you learn a lot about yourself and a lot about what you can do in this league. I think you've seen that so far. Just the way he attacked his rehab, the way he attacked being present in the meetings, learning from Gardner, whoever's in that room. Now he's got Flacco to be in there too. So I think it's just overall, at 21, it's been very impressive to see his progression, even though he had that setback early in the season.
Right along with that, with all the optimism on Richardson and Taylor, the fact that they didn't really play together much last year, practice, but OTs, what's the value of going forward from here on with those guys being on the field together?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when I came into the league, OTAs looked a little bit different than what they do now. I think COVID kind of changed everything, but I think that the value in being here in the offseason is, being around the guys, right? Like the team game of football, you can't replicate it anywhere else. You have to be time spent together, time spent in the facility, outside the facility, learning who each other are. You know what I mean? I think that's invaluable, and I think that just being in meetings, having lunch together, those things compound over time. I think it's where you see great relationships, birth out of football. I think those are going to be, vitally important this year.
You talk about getting everybody being back in the room, and they re-signed, got a dozen players. Mm-hmm. You're going into your contract here. Have you had discussions on extension?
Not really. I want to stay here. It's my 9th year here. It's the last year of my contract, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't want another one. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens.
You just mentioned like the offseason schedule being different than it used to be. I don't know this for a fact, but it looks like you guys might have an abbreviated schedule this year. Am I right about that?
I think we cut about a week off at the end.
Okay. Yeah. Was that collaborative at all with you guys? I know you've been collaborative with coaches in the past.
Yeah.
Did that happen again here?
I can't speak for the collaboration standpoint. I think it goes to show you. I think Shane listens to the experts when it comes to what's the right amount of load for a player to take in the off season to get back into a routine come June. I think that was kind of always the hard part, is when you leave phase 3, you go to minicamp, and you're kind of going right in the middle of June. You don't have really enough time to get back into like a full workout cycle. I think that not speaking too much for him what his decision was in that point, but I think that's plays a big factor into it. And also I think if you're efficient in your time, as I think Shane has a huge emphasis on, I think it's you get the work you need to do in those 2.5 months to whatever it is. You get out, let guys get off their feet, and trusting that they're going to be back in the gym after a short vacation, get back and be ready to go come training camp.
Obviously, Anthony was injured last year, so it wasn't on the field as much, but has it been big to have a quarterback here in successive years and have a guy who has some familiarity with you?
Yeah, I mean, like many years, right? The 7-8 years before this, it's like day one, meet the new guy, and then see where it goes, right? I think it's great to have a little carryover year to year. I think that certainly it's a little bit tougher because he had the injury, so he's not you're not always talking football 24/7, right? It was a lot of times just me and Gardner going through blitzes or going through schemes, talking shop. I think it's like I talked about before, is you get 4 hours here during the day, but can we buy 30 minutes here to talk about whatever it is, life at lunch? I think that has a lot of great deal of value for how this season is going to go, and ultimately the relationship between him and I, and it's going to continue to keep growing.
That's Ryan Kelly. When Ryan Kelly feels good about stuff, I feel good about stuff, because he will tell you if he doesn't feel good about stuff. So you can take him at his word that if he sees this thing developing, it's developing.